The final week of Season of the Witch has just concluded, for the main quest at least. Today we acquire the last tithe for Eris Morn, confront forces of Xivu Arath, and revive Savathun. Let's explain everything that went down today and what it means for the story leading up to the Final Shape expansion. We first begin at the helm, where Eris in the Athenaeum discusses her hive power and the sisters. Eris has gained a lot of power over this season, but she needs just one more tithe for us to complete her plan.
Lies built on lies. The predictions of the dead witch that I would take her bargain, unseat her sister, serve her deceptions to survive the witness. That my fate is not my own. Did she learn nothing from the Traveler? Any rule can be unseated by a choice. Xivu Arath, god of battlefield filth. Savathun, god of the false and polluted. You have forgotten you were born as prey. I will remind you. Now is the time, my acolyte, my guardian. The truth is in the cards. The blood whispers, Asa's mewling suffer song. The venom surge behind my eyes. This will be our final tide. Let it be glorious.
She threatens Savathun and Xivu as they are mere prey compared to her new strength. We complete a spire to prepare for the ritual and then speak to Ikora before things go down. Ikora tells us now is the time. Eris is ready for this final tithe. Ikora readies the body of Savathun from the tower security vault and awaits Eris's call. Our guardian heads to the oubliette to conduct this final ritual.
This is it, Guardian. Eris consulted her cards one last time and departed for the oubliette in Savathun's throne world. She awaits your final tithe. Before she left, she asked me to ready something for Transmat from the tower security vault. And I agreed. Everything is on the line. Asa, the Vanguard, the fate of the Soul System and beyond. Empower her, Guardian. Give Eris the strength she needs to reshape the entire Hive Pantheon. And then, all we need to do is get out of her way. This is it, Guardian. Eris is ready for the final tithing ritual. This is our last and best opportunity to deal a real blow to Xivu Arath. I know this may seem like a long shot, but we have to trust in Eris. She made herself for this moment. You both did.
As we head in, Amaru warns us of Xivu's presence. She'll bring down this whole place on top of us like she did with Kaido's homeworld. Amaru says, I'm out of here, I'm about to leave, but Eris says, no, you will either witness our success or die alongside us. The Guardian approaches the altar and enters a new temple area for this mission.
It's been fun watching you play Hive, but this has gotten out of hand. You activate the oubliette again, and Xivu's goons are gonna go full Tora bottle on this place.
You lack imagination, underling. You shall soon witness the consequences of your master's apostasy.
Oh no! Xivu's calling up the Leviathan-Eater. He's been around since Fundament. A real heavy hitter. I'm getting out of here, and you should too. Stick around and you'll end up a grease stain.
You will go nowhere. This is the culmination of the bargain you proposed. You will witness our triumph, or perish as one of us. Rejoice, worshipper! You have sounded the horn of battle, and war has arrived! Go forth, eater of Leviathans, scourge of the sky! Raise my sister's court, and tithe the ashes to thy death!
Inside, we fight the Leviathan-Eater, Xivu's newest champion.
Run for your lives! They're about to bomb this place flat!
Return to our ritual circle, my acolyte. Your mastery of spellcraft shall be our salvation. In the name of all the Hive have stolen, conspire with my vengeance. In the name of Crota's Bane, the Kingslayer, and the Light, in the name of Eris Morn, tithe unto me for the last time, acolyte. I out.
Once dead, the final tithe takes place. In a cutscene, Savathun's body is transmatted in. Amaru revives Savathun and Eris kills her, taking all of Savathun's power, thus becoming the most powerful hive to ever exist.
Eris, I've arranged the transmat, but once she's here, we'll lose containment. We can't go back on this one.
One last atrocity.
This wasn't the agreement! Xivu is still a threat!
Do it! You will not have another chance!
Eris Morn. Finally out of her shell. It looks good on you, honey.
I am your ruin.
Savathun has not been killed by a hive since she lost her worm. Stored eons of potent lies and deceit.
All Savathun's power, plus the tithes of the Guardians.
Eris Morn is the strongest hive there has ever been.
Hear me, dead things. I let this moment pass unnamed, without song. This is the rejection of your sad legacy. Xivu Arath, agitator, fomenter, what a world cyst you have built from your conquests. No more. Now and forever, you are banished. Hayat.
The lore card for this week continues what happened right after this cutscene, so I'm going to read that next. The air still sizzled with dissipating soul fire as the Guardian and Ikora knelt beside Eris. An eruption of light illuminated the thick smoke behind them, and Savathun rose again, laughing. I suppose I had that coming. the towering god said as she rubbed her renewed throat. She slowly tilted her head. Something's different, she said carefully. I don't feel her. Amaru darted up to Savathun's eye level. After she took your power, Eris called up Xivu's throne world and did something that cut her off from it. He floated to Savathun's shoulder and glared down at Eris. Banished from her own throne world, Savathun cackled gleefully as she approached. Eris, you overachiever. How I love you. I wound you up and you ran right over her. Savathun crouched, peering at Eris's collapsed form with intense curiosity. I'm surprised expending that much power didn't kill you outright, she said, though it explains why you're back in that awful little meat body of yours. Eris propped herself up on one elbow. Ikora moved to help her rise, but Eris waved her off. Our bargain is complete, she said. Your sister has been dealt with, and you live again. Now, Eris demanded, her uncovered eyes glowing fiercely. Tell us how to follow the witness. Tell you, Savathun frowned, her voice edged with disappointment. I already showed you. Ikora leapt to her feet, roaring void energy distorting the air around her. She took a measured step toward Savathun. No tricks, no riddles, no lies twisted around the truth, she said, her voice firm. Tell us now, or I don't have any reason to let you leave here alive. Savathun slowly drew herself to her full height and grinned down at Ikora, spreading her wings wide. Eris may have managed an interesting sword logic stunt, but I have lost none of my power. She began to hover, her talons dragged across the ground as she floated toward the warlock. You're in no position to stop me. The Guardian rose from Eris's side. I am, they said. Savathun paused for a long moment, her ossified face unreadable. Finally, she sighed. Just when you were starting to impress me, she said as she closed her wings and stooped to Ikora's height. Amaru bobbed awkwardly to keep level with her. We both need to stop the witness, and to that end, I have given you what I promised, she said slowly. You will find you have it when you are ready. Like Eris said, our bargain is complete. There's no need for drama. Ikora gritted her teeth. Savathun shrugged. Pout all you like, Ikora, she said. It's not a trick, and if you won't take my word for it, then… Savathun looked around the ritual space of her throne world. Her eyes settled on Amaru, and she smiled. Take him. What? Sputtered Amaru. Savathun ignored him. Take Amaru, my loyal ghost, my connection to the light, she continued, dropping to one knee in supplication. I leave him with the Vanguard willingly, so if you would rather give me my final death and stop the witness… Savathun closed her claws in a fist. Crunch, she purred. Capiche? Amaru flew between Savathun and Ikora. Don't I get a say in this? He shouted. No, Savathun laughed. You have your orders, and the rest of you. She gestured at Ikora, the Guardian, and Eris, who had drawn herself unsteadily to her feet. Don't mess this up. The witness wants to sweep our pieces from the board, and we're having such a lovely game. Savathun turned, wings trailing like a gown, and Ikora took a half step forward. The Guardian was at her side in an instant. Eris placed a hand on Ikora's shoulder. Don't. Take care of yourself, Eris, Savathun said. It was such fun seeing your mask slip. The delighted laughter of the Queen of Lies echoed through the ritual chamber as she vanished down the long hallway. Back to this week's quest. At the helm, Eris is back to normal and explains what happened. She became the strongest hive ever with Savathun and the Guardian's tithes, stronger than even Xivu Arath. And what did she do? She cut off Xivu from her own throne world. Now, Xivu is mortal, and whenever we come face to face eventually, we'll only have to end her once, no trips to throne worlds to do it a second time. Eris could have had all of this power, possibly maybe be consumed by it, but she decided to let go, return to her normal moondust self. Despite these events, Amaru resurrected Savathun once more, as seen in that lore card, and she is still out there somewhere. Savathun's like, let me live, you can take Amaru and crush him if you wish. Let that be our new deal.
Guardian, It is done. When I killed Savathun, I claimed her eons of stored power. For a moment, I surpassed even Xivu Arath herself. The macabre gifts of the Hive awaited, a pitted plain of open graves. It was magnificent. I rejected them all. Instead of challenging Xivu Arath, I severed her connection to her throne world. She is mortal now, wherever she may be. Mortal and furious. Refusing conflict split my ritual's foul call. Your tithe drained from me, and now here I stand. A woman who was briefly a god. Ikora tells me Amaru resurrected Savathun. She fled, but left Amaru here, as my ward. An irksome peace offering, for me to destroy if Savathun moves against us. But I am weary of destruction. You may continue to explore Savathun's throne world, as the Queen of Lies is never to be fully trusted. But for now, I would like only tea. Tea and silence.
In the terminal, Eris speaks about the Traveler Portal. We will deal with Xivu at some point, but later it seems, maybe after the final shape. Savathun told us she gave us what we need to enter the portal, we just have to discover what form it's taken, which is interesting. Something that can change forms.
Mission report number 472.622.3. Regarding our ongoing attempts to breach the extra-spatial portal within the Traveler, I'm relieved to report that Eris's risky plan worked. Her final ritual banished Xivu Arath from her own throne world. The Hive God of War is vulnerable for the first time in millennia. When the time comes, we can finally force a decisive engagement against her. But first, we have to deal with the witness. To that end, it seems the Witch Queen held up her end of the bargain. I didn't want to let her go, but Savathun offered some enticing collateral. She left Amaru in Vanguard custody. He's an odious little wretch, but an important one. As long as we control the Witch Queen's connection to the light, she'll think twice before crossing us. It went against my every instinct to let Savathun squirm away again. But we need to keep our attention on that portal. She gave us the secret to breaching it. Now, we just need to discover what form it's taken. For now, Asa is back in hibernation, and Eris is recovering. More than that, she's thriving. I was worried that Eris's obsession with the Hive would overwhelm her, but she's carrying herself with an air of confidence I haven't seen in a century. And I'm just glad to see her happy.
So Guardians, there you have it, a recap of the final events of Season of the Witch. There does seem to be a couple of more terminal entries in the coming weeks, maybe at the end of the season, we'll find out. But that's the main bulk of the story for now. Eris Morn used all these ties to cut Xivu Arath off from her throne world. Savathun was revived, and she tells us we already have what we need to follow the witness, we just have to figure out what form it's taken. If you'd like to see some more Destiny lore and mysteries just like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.